My wife and I were driving back home from a friend's wedding. It was late at night. We used to live in Arizona, so it would get dark fairly quickly. My wife was tired, so she fell asleep on the way home. And I remember driving home, that long street, all the houses and trees surrounding it. I can't remember the name of the street, but it was long and dark. I turned on the radio so I could hear something while driving. I glanced in my rear view mirror to see if there was anyone following me, but instead of cars, I saw a ghostly woman in the back of my seat. I can see everything she was wearing from the top half of her body. She was wearing a hat and a coat. That's all I can see, but I didn't want to take my eyes off the road. She looked like an older woman. She must have been in her late 60s. I didn't get scared of her. I just stared at her, and she moved her head back and forth as she looked outside the windows. Then I asked her if she's okay, but she didn't need a ride somewhere. She stopped moving her head and looked at me and said, "No, thank you." And right after that, she disappeared. I haven't seen her since. When my wife and I got home, I explained what had happened and what I saw. She said, "Why didn't you wake me up?" And I responded with, "Because I didn't want you to get scared." The next day, I did some research on the ghost that entered my car. Turns out, the woman that I saw in my car was murdered in a car. She was trying to find her kid still. Till this day, she goes into people's cars and sits there while moving her head back and forth, looking for her children. I guess I'm just thankful that me and my wife were both okay at the end of the night. And still, but I just wish I could have helped somehow. Maybe if I didn't say anything, she would still be in my car trying to look, or maybe I'm just overthinking it. But that's my story. What was our last house to investigate? My friends and I made up this idea to become fake paranormal investigators to make a little extra money on the side. I was the cameraman, my friend Javier was the lead investigator, and my other friend Julian, he would post our videos on YouTube and edit and do all that fancy stuff. We called ourselves the best paranormal investigators, and that's what our channel was called as well. We didn't have that many subscribers, just 100, but we appreciated all the support, even though our videos were fake. My name is Josh. It was only me and my two other friends that decided to do this fake business. We made a lot of money off of it, so we didn't think too much of it. We charged our clients pretty decent money. Actually, pretty well money. It was a lot. Mostly because we acted like we knew what we were doing, and we brought the right material. And it honestly looked like we were professional ghost paranormal hunters. Anyways, we arrived to the house in which we were called, and this was a big house. It looked like a mansion. I got an eerie feeling about it, but didn't think too much of it. We walked up to the front. Didn't look like anyone was around. As we knocked, the door opened by itself. We all looked at each other, stepped in. There was a cool breeze. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I was a little shaken up, but I didn't want to seem like I was the only one, so I really didn't say anything. I'm pretty sure my fans felt the same thing though. All the windows were closed, so we didn't know where the air was coming from. Anyways, we thought. Javier said we had to start getting ready for the homeowner, so I started getting my stuff ready, and we would try to get everything done, so when the homeowner did come, we'd be ready to start shooting. Anyways, but decided to set up the computers in the living room. Then Javier, when he finished, got up and started to look around the house, kind of exploring it, at the same time looking for the owner. I pulled out my camera to make sure everything was fully charged and ready. When I was done, I started to walk down the hallway and I saw the rest of the house. The rest of the rooms inside were all empty, like if no one was living there. All I had was just a bed inside. That's it. No cabinets, no clothes, no TV, nothing. There was no pictures. The lights didn't even work, which was shocking to me. Javier saw me and said he couldn't find the owner of the house. I mentioned that we were already paid, so we might as well do something. We can't just leave. At that moment, we heard the door slam. My friend Julian yelled at me and Javier. We ran towards him. Julian, what did you see? Are you okay? He said that the front door slammed by itself, and it wasn't even windy or cold outside. So we decided to wait till the owner came back, but never did. As a matter of fact, Julian said again, we should just leave. We already got paid anyways. Javier said no, we have to finish our job. I just got up and started walking around again to see if anyone was there. I went into his bedroom at the end of the hallway and it had a bathroom inside the room. My back was facing the front door and I was looking inside the bathroom until the door slammed shut. I was stuck inside the bathroom. I yelled to my friends to come and help me, but they couldn't do anything. They just told me to stay inside and wait till the owner came back. Since I was stuck in the room, I had no idea what my other friends were doing. That's when I started to think, maybe this house really is haunted. Then I heard Julian call out for Javier to help him with the cameras, but I never heard Javier go to him. I was listening to the door, and I can hear Javier fixing up the cameras, fixing the wirings. Then he walked down the hallway, and he yelled Javier's name from the top of his lungs like he was shocked. Found out later that Javier was laying down in the kitchen. He was shaking. He didn't know if Javier was dead. Tried to wake him up, and thankfully Javier woke up, but he was scared. Javier said, we need to leave now. And Julian said, let me get the equipment. Javier said, we need to leave now. And Julian said, what about the equipment? Javier said, leave it. And he ran towards me. He tried to break inside the room that I was locked in, but he couldn't. I can hear him say, you'll just have to stay here by yourself. I'll come back with the police. I was scared. I said, no, don't leave. Julian asked, what's wrong? Javier, what's wrong? But Javier just ran to the front door. My door finally opened by itself, and I ran out, and Julian and I saw Javier as he saw me. We noticed Javier didn't look right. He looked possessed. It looked like his skin was rotting. Me and Julian looked at each other and said, let's find a way out. While we were finding a way out, me and Julian kept whispering, we should split up or try to get away. Javier's not right. Javier kept glancing over at us, kind of like suspecting he knew something was going on. At this time, we all gathered in a circle and agreed to split up. Javier took the hallways, I went up in the attic, and Julian went down in the basement. While I was up there, I could see a crack coming from the attic. It led out to the roof. As I quickly went out to explore it, I found out there was a ladder next to the roof. Thank God. As I went inside to tell my friends, I let out a yell. Julian! Javier! Nothing. So I went back down into the main hallway, started to look for them. Couldn't find Javier anywhere. I was starting to get a little worried. Then I went down to the basement, where Julian would have been looking. There was no sign of him. Then I went to the front, and I see the door open. They must have left, I said. The cameras weren't even there anymore. So I got my stuff, my backpack, and I started walking out. Since that day, I've never seen Javier or Julian ever again. I don't know what happened. If anyone asks me, I say I wasn't there. I wasn't there that night. I miss my friends. I don't know where they're at, but I will try to find them. So, I am a Hmong, and according to the Hmong religion, there is a shaman in each family. A shaman in the family usually sees weird stuff like ghosts. It's also common for the shaman to have sleep paralysis from here and there. So one night I had sleep paralysis, and there was a girl dressed in a traditional Hmong clothes staring at me from the corner. When I woke up, she was still there, but this time she was closer, and I panicked. I quickly rushed to my parents' room in the garage. It was so dark I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see what I was going through. Eventually I reached the garage. Once I was inside, I didn't see my parents, but then I noticed that they left a note. It said that they were at my aunts and uncle's. My heart dropped to my stomach, and I couldn't believe I was alone. I run to the back of the house. The garage was blocked out of nowhere, so I had to run barefoot through the backyard, into the dark, into my kitchen, where my grandpa, the current shaman in the family, was. He was in the kitchen just waiting for something. He let me in and closed the door right after me. And he started saying some stuff, and he started saying stuff in Hmong, or some language. He lifted off. You are not welcome here. This is not your home. Go elsewhere. The gods will punish you. And then the lights flickered for a bit, and then everything went back to normal. About a week later, I saw the same girl again, but this time she was standing next to my grandpa, smirking. I acted like she wasn't there, but it only got worse from there. She would walk around me, making things fall, so I told my grandpa about it. He had to do a Hmong ritual to get rid of the spirit. On that day, my grandpa had a dream that the spirit was cursing and yelling at him, saying that he broke her trail, and that she would find a new trail to be back soon. It's been a few months since then, since the time I saw her, but I'm still on the lookout, making sure she won't return.